In our 5 years of marriage, I had given in to my husband John for a grand total of 3 times. The first time was during my pregnancy. He had taken his ex-girlfriend Stacy, who had once taken 3 bullets for him, back home and cared for her. When I became angry, he immediately sent her away once she recovered. The second time was after childbirth, when I was ready to return to work. To repay a favor, he gave the position I had worked years for to Stacy. He said it was so I could rest well. I looked at my son, who needed me, and I conceded. The third time was during our son's birthday. In front of the entire company, he had announced that Stacy was his wife, also she could establish herself in the company. I gave him two choices: divorce or send her away. Without hesitation, he chose the latter and immediately sent her abroad. The fourth time was when my father suddenly had a heart attack and urgently needed surgery. He disappeared again. I searched everywhere for him to cover the hospital expenses, and I finally discovered that he had gone to the airport to pick up a pregnant Stacy, who was returning to the country. Because of that, my father missed the best chance for treatment and died. I was done giving in. I disguised the divorce agreement as our son's medical bill and tricked him into signing it. No compensation or apology would matter. I did not wish to have him near my son or myself again. "Mom, it's my birthday today. Is Dad still not coming home?" My son Jason ugged at my pants, with his voice choked with tears. I looked at the dozen missed calls on my phone and felt anxious, so I picked him up and went straight to John's company, only to find his office empty. The receptionist said he was in the banquet hall. I froze, then glanced again at the message John had just sent. "I'm in a meeting, we'll talk later." Suppressing my unease, I pushed open the banquet hall doors. Jason shouted for his dad, but I quickly covered his mouth. At that moment, John was holding another woman by the waist and announcing to everyone, "This is my wife, Stacy. We've been married for 5 years." He spoke smoothly, and the crowd turned to look at Stacy. They stepped forward with their drinks to toast her, but John stopped them. "My wife doesn't like to drink, so I'll drink on her behalf." My hands trembled violently, and by the time I calmed down, tears were streaming down my face. My phone lit up with another message from John. "My meeting is almost over. Where did you book the restaurant? I will head over. Stacy will come as well. Don't throw a tantrum and embarrass her." I read each word, then looked up to see John slip his phone back into his pocket and kiss Stacy on the cheek. I took out my phone and snapped a photo. I leaned against the wall for a time before walking out of the building. The driver asked cautiously, "Madame, should we head to the restaurant?" I rested my head warily against the window. With a barely audible voice, I said, "No, go back to the Lane family home." My parents came out happily to greet me, only to see I had brought Jason along, but not John. "Where is John? Why did he not come? He isn't with that woman again, is he?" I gave a bitter smile and nodded. Mother grew furious and patted my shoulder. "Amy, our family may not be wealthy, but we can still raise you and Jason. If you don't want to with him anymore, then come home." With tears in my eyes, I threw myself into her arms and sobbed. All right. I ended up celebrating Jason's birthday at the Lane family home. He was happy. John called many times, but I did not answer. I only sent him the photo and then turned off my phone. When I returned to the villa, John immediately leapt up from the sofa and rushed to the door. "Amy, listen to me, it's not what you think."